Hi folks, I'm Nathan with Two Guys in a Ride, and welcome to our CarTech how-to video on the 2023 Nissan Ariya, and this is the Engage trim level. Today I'll be covering the driver's information and infotainment screens. I'll do a general overview, show you how to access information, and do a deep dive. Let's get started.
Today we're working with our friends at Mankato Nissan in Mankato, Minnesota.
We're going to start with the driver's information screen. Now, it has two screens under one piece of glass, a little bit of curve between them, and each screen is 12.3 inches, and they're very nice. The graphics are good, the colors are really nice, and probably for the first time, the driver's information screen has as much detail as we see in gas-powered or diesel-powered vehicles. I mean, there is a ton of customizable stuff in here. So let's get going. So over on the far left, you've got a gauge, 0 to 100. That's percentage of power being used. You have got then the blue side that tells you if your regen is operating. Okay, down below that, of course, you have your gear selector. You got your light. If your lights are on, you've got outdoor temperature. The middle, you can, of course, customize, and you can customize the center of the percentage of power use gauge as well. And then over on the far right, you've got a speedometer and then a digital speedometer in the middle. But here's what's really interesting. So the analog looking speedometer plus the digital speedometer in the middle are both miles per hour. But down in the right-hand corner, you have a kilometers per hour digital speedometer. And I think that's nice. It's just there. Okay. Now, over on the far left of the screen, you have a button that lights up, and you can't touch it, but it's actually your brightness and dimness switch that you can use to adjust the brightness of the screens. Okay. So, to control everything in the driver's information screen, you're going to use 4 buttons on the left side of the steering wheel. You've got a back arrow, and actually this is like a go back one. You got a right arrow, you've got a menu button, and then you've got a scrolling button. Now, the scrolling button, it takes a little getting used to. So it takes a little bit of a press and then a rotate forward. It doesn't like rotating backwards. If you push it hard enough, you can click backwards, but on our drive, it did take me too long to get used to just scrolling up all the time instead of ever scrolling down. All right, so let's start with what's on the left side of the screen and how you customize that. So what you're going to do, and we're talking about the percentage of power used and the regen gauge. So you're going to press this little menu button. You're going to slightly push and then rotate up. And it just keeps going through this list, as you can see. So it's kind of hard to go down. So I just keep going up, and I'm on personal display, and I click here for OK. Now, these are all the things that you can decide to put in that gauge. You can see them happening as I scroll through. If you have navigation running, it'll actually give you, your turn-by-turn directions. Okay, we got to go. It clicked out on me here, so I got to keep moving. All right, you can have brake lights, average speed, gear position, trip information, energy economy, time to destination, navigation, and blank. And I'm going to push the back button one more time. All right, I'm going to push this menu button here, and we're back to this screen. So that is how you customize the stuff on the inside of that gauge. Now, in the middle of the screen, you have got a ton of stuff. So, to start with, we're just going to use the right and left buttons. You got home, you've got would be Eco Pedal Guide, your EV stuff. You've got battery capacity here, navigation. I mean, you've got all this stuff right under here. This is very familiar. Okay, so you will notice that when I go to a particular screen, you'll notice that it has 2 dots on the side. One's white, one's gray. That means you have other screens in this window. So if I take and I just slightly push and rotate up, okay, that's the second screen I get here. Rotate up again, and I'm back to this. You notice I've got, would be in my compass up here, and then down below, I have got my media. So that's those 2 screens. So now I'm going to go one to the right, And I've got 3 dots. So here I've got an eco pedal guide. Down here I've got energy economy history. And then down here I've got the drive computer. Now to reset these, you just press and hold. Okay. All right, I'm going to go over one more to the right. And under here I've also got 3 dots. So I'm going to push and rotate up slightly. Charge time. Tire pressure. And then if you click OK, you can go into a menu and you can change the tire pressure unit. Okay, so I'm going to press OK again. And then I get to these different ones right here. All right, I'm going to use this as a back button. I'm going to go back one more time. All right. And I think that was it for, yep, those 3. Okay, now I'm going to press the right arrow again. And here I've got, we've seen this is navigation. If I scroll up one, I actually get a map. Okay. Now, let's see. If I go over one more, okay, then I get media. And if I press OK, then I can get to all my sources here. Okay. And then, if I go back one, okay, if I use the arrows on below here, these white arrows, you can then change to the next station. Here's what I like. Okay, so these look like capacitive touch buttons, but they're not. So I like that, first of all. Secondly, they have a little notch under each of these. So as you put your finger across the steering wheel, you're going to know if you're on the first bump, second bump, or third bump, and that, frankly, is genius. On capacitive touch buttons, you have no idea which one you're touching until you touch it. And I think that is a really good idea. Okay, and I think if you get the car, you're really going to appreciate it. All right, let me go one more to the right. Okay, this is your Pro Pilot Assist, and if you press OK, so if I click again, you can have the warning on or off just by clicking the OK button. You can go down to the intervention button, on or off. And I would leave those on. I mean, that's part of the safety features. I'm gonna hit the back button. Under blind spot, or right here, you're gonna have, again, warning on or off, intervention on or off. We'll go back. And then under emergency assist, emergency braking on and rear auto braking on. Okay, I would highly recommend leaving those on. That's really just a nice safety feature to have. So I'm going to click back here. I'm going to click back again, and we're back to this screen. Now, I do have 2 other screens, so if I rotate up, okay, speed limit sign recognition, which, of course, we're not driving, and the camera is covered right now, so it wouldn't show one, but that's where that would be. And then your dynamic radar cruise control. All right, if I click OK for menu, you can have steering assist on or off right there. Let me hit the back button. All right, so moving over again to the right, you get your gear settings. Now, under here, you got to press OK for menu, and then you have a ton of stuff. So I'm not going to go through every single one, but I'll go into a couple of these, and the rest work very, very similarly. So I'm actually going to start with driver assistance. I'm going to click this on, and this is more of your safety systems, okay? So intelligent cruise, any of these, you just click on, and you can have speed adjusted by route, on or off. And if that's on, and you have a course plotted, and it sees that there's a curve coming up, it's automatically going to slow your car down. If it sees a roundabout coming up, it's automatically going to slow your car down. So it's adjusting your speed according to what it sees on the route. All right, and then, of course, you can have speed limit assist, manual, auto, or off. All right, hit the back button here, back button again. All right, now, whoops, I have to go down here, lane centering assist. Okay, you can see again, it's the same process on all these. It's just on or off usually. Sometimes you have a few choices. So, but I want to talk about the heads-up display. Now, in here, you can adjust the brightness. Again, you just click OK, and you just rotate this up or down to do that. Okay, height. Here's where you can go in, and you can, again, rotate this to adjust the height. Then I go back, Rotation. I love it when they include rotation here. So this will rotate it left or right a little bit. And then we'll go back again. Of course, now here you can select your content. So I go down here, and you can decide what shows up in your HUD display. In a simple click, if you take navigation off, navigation will not show up in the HUD. So these are the things that you can turn on or off. So, but just really, really nice heads-up display. All right, let's go back. Let's go back again. Customize display. If I take a look at this, now, you remember at the beginning I went through with these arrows and I showed you all the screens? Well, this is where you choose what shows up in that when you do it. So if I go here, here's my choices. I have home, cruise, ProPilot. I've got audio, speed limit sign, navigation, and currently you see everything has an orange dot. So everything is turned on. But if there were some reason you didn't want one of those, you could click and that screen would not show up when you went left or right through everything. I think it makes sense to leave everything on, but that is where you would customize that. So I'm going to go back one here. This is where you change the unit or the language right here. And again, you just go down to one, click on it, and then rotate up or down to what you want and click. I'm just going to hit the back button, of course. This is where you change all of these. All right, and that is it. Except for one other thing I want to show you, because this whole time I've been working with these gauges. Okay, to change that, you're going to press this little button right here, the menu button, and then just press the OK button. And then you get a minimized screen as far as your gauges go, and then the center part that was kind of smaller between the gauges becomes larger. And I'll just show you quick, because you can still go through the same things. Here's the home. So you still see the same icons down below, but it's a much bigger picture. All right, next we're going to move over to the infotainment screen. All right, so the infotainment screen is another 12.3-inch screen with this little curved area that has two buttons in it, okay? So you've got a day-night theme. So you can change that right there. And then you have access to your cameras. So if I click, I can turn on or off predictive course lines, and I can look at the display settings and set all these items. But you can't click or drag. You need to use the plus or minus. All right. I'll get back to the actual camera in a little bit. Now, the way it's laid out is you have your basic shortcuts right here, and then you have a screen with multiple windows. But then if you swipe to the left, you're going to have more apps that you can look at. And these, of course, are customizable. So on top of here, you do have a gear wheel that you can take down. You can look at all settings. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and click here and go back to this screen. And if I click on the clock, it takes you right to setting the clock, which I like when they put that in. All right, so the screen is customizable. Not only can you add a screen, which will add a dot down here and create your own custom screen, but you can rearrange what's already here. Now, the thing about this is that this screen seems to be preset to being a large box with two smaller ones. So what you can do is you can move this over here, and then that would put these two over there. I can click and hold. Okay, it's going to pop this up, and you can click Don't Show again. What I'm going to do is click and hold until I have an orange square, drag this over here, and you can notice I've got an orange square there. Oops, I had one for a second. There I go. And then it shifts sides. I can take this one, and I can put it down here. You just got to watch that an orange square appears on the second one. Okay, so that's how you can... And I'm going to click, well, I don't want to say that, but that's how you can customize that screen. Now, if you want to customize your own screen, okay, you just go here to where you get the plus button, and you can kind of decide. So take a look at some of your choices here. It says select a widget. A phone can be this size, it can be this size, and then your map can be this size. You can get driving range, energy usage, charging stations. So, I mean, let's say we wanted one for more, EV use. So I would say I want, Boy, these are going to be the same size. Let's do driving range. Okay. So it added it to a different page because it couldn't be on the same page. So if I go over here, it just added that. Oops. Here I go. But I can click here, get rid of that one, click add, and say I want energy usage. See, now it'll put the 2x2 together. So you kind of have to pay attention if it says 2x2, 1x2. That'll determine the sizes that can match. But now I can hit save. And there's my fourth screen. So you could really customize the screen to, have pages that really show at a glance all the information you want to know in a particular area. Okay, so that is just really cool. So there it is. It's customizable. Now, as far as the rest of the buttons here go, we're just going to go through them. And so if I click on here, this is notifications. Okay, battery level is very low. That's fine. We're sitting, so we're good. This was the home screen we already saw. And if you click on any one of these, then it should become full screen. Navigation. All right, so it has a nice navigation system built into this car. So let's talk about how you would program a route. And honestly, the easiest way is using voice command. The assistant is quite intelligent, so let's just try this.
Please say or select a command.
I'm hungry.
Showing matching locations.
Number 4.
4. Panera Bread. Calculate route or adjust location.
Calculate route.
Calculating route.
Okay, I'm going to show you the second cool feature about the navigation and these two dashboards. You can send one screen to another. Now you can do it in navigation. So the thing is, you need to be in drive and you need to have a route plotted. But watch what happens when I put 2 fingers on, kind of a click and hold. And there you go. So, I mean, just phenomenal. All right. So we'll press voice command again to cancel it.
Please say or select a command.
Cancel navigation.
Canceling route.
All right. Let's go to media for a minute. All right, so on here, of course, you have AM and FM radio. You have Sirius XM. You got Bluetooth, 2 different USBs. You have wireless Apple CarPlay, but at this point, a wired Android Auto. All right, let's go to FM for a minute. So, real quick, here's how you tune. Okay, it's just going to go to the next station. You can also use the left and right arrows on the steering wheel to do the same thing. Okay, if you want to scan, you just click the button and it does it automatically. So what scan is it's just going to go to one radio station. As soon as it gets a good signal, it's going to stop, play it for like 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and then it's going to move on to the next station. Anytime you like the station you're on, you just click scan again and it stays there. Then you can use these arrows if you want to go by digits. Okay, and then finally you can punch in a number if you want. Now, the second most commonly asked question is, how do I save a station as a favorite? So if I go here and I press and I hold, there it goes. I like it that they put the sources right here, but you can also see basically a lot of the sources right there. You can also get rid of that. If you go up to your gear wheel here, you can manage the presets. So this means if you want to delete a preset, you just check it and hit delete. The other thing you could do in here is go to your audio settings, okay? And you can look at connections here if you want and see what's connected, okay? You can also go back here. So you got bass, middle, treb, you got bass enhancer on or off, and then speed sensitive volume, which tries to keep the car's volume at the same level to your ears, whether you're driving on a really noisy road or not. And by the way, taking this thing out to drive, man, Rabbi knows how nicely insulated it was. There was no road noise. It was really, really, really surprising and very, very nice. Okay, so I'm going to just show you real quick. If I go to source and I go to AM, it's going to look almost identical to FM, and it's going to work the same way as far as tuning and saving a preset and managing your preset. I want to just show you one more, and that's Sirius XM is going to look almost identical with a few extra buttons. Of course, you got the play pause for live stuff. It's all laid out very, very much the same. All right. At this point, let's hook up Apple CarPlay. I'm going to go to Bluetooth. It says nothing's connected. So I'm going to turn my phone on, and I am going to go to my phone's settings. I'm going to go to Bluetooth settings, make sure my Bluetooth is turned on, and I'm going to hit connections. I want Apple CarPlay. So here it gives you a choice as to what you want to hook it for. So I'm going to add device. And if I look at the bottom of my Bluetooth list, I should see my Ariya showing up fairly soon here. There it is. I click on it. The number on my screen is the same as the vehicle, so I hit pair on my phone. Now it wants to know if I want to sync my contacts and favorites. For me, I'm going to say no, because it's not my car, but if it's your car, then you'd want to do that. So I'm going to say, don't ask anymore, and yes, I want to use that. Okay, and there I am. So you can put your phone away, don't have to look at it at all. This is your most commonly used apps. The phone tends to always stay there. And then both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay have a split screen view where you get navigation, some navigation commands, and then basic media, screen and buttons. Anything you click on here, this one or this one, because that's just a command button, takes you right to that particular screen. Now, if you want to see all the apps that will show up, you can go here. Will it show every single app on your phone? No. But the ones that are compatible with the car, it will. Now, you can notice, I mean, the car's got some nice navigation system, but, you know, let's say you're used to using Google Maps. Well, there you go. Not only that, if you press and hold the voice command button on the steering wheel, you can access Siri or your Android assistant. Siri, find the closest McDonald's.
One option I see is McDonald's on Adams Street in Mankato.
And there we go, just like that. What you can't do is you can't two-finger click and throw this anywhere. It's only the car system that'll do that. You notice I got a nice Apple CarPlay icon on my screen now as a shortcut. All right, so then if I go down here, the last icon, I get the climate control. Shows that your heated seats are on. You do this to set the levels, which is weird. The buttons here and then the stages are there, but that's where it is. And of course, you can turn it all the way off if you want. So the rear button isn't actually for climate control, but what is really cool is you can turn on your rear heated seats from here, which I've also not seen before. So the fact that you can do that for the rear passengers is awesome. Tap there, we'll go back to the front. And of course, you can set your settings here. Now, this is the sync button in case I want to turn the sync off and I want to change the temperature in one area. Okay. So that is right there. All right. I'm going to swipe over here. So let's talk about some of these apps here. EV Quick Connect. If I go here, it's going to show me spots right away that I can go and charge. Okay. If I go here, I can look at SiriusXM Travel Link, and I can look at conditions nearby. If I have a destination set, I'll see what the weather is there, or a favorite city if I want to have that. I can look at an hourly, or I can look at a 5-day forecast. And then it does operate with Amazon Alexa, so you have to set it up there, and I won't do that, of course, but it'll operate everything that Alexa does. So you can control your lights from your car at your house or change your temperature on your thermostat. All right, let's swipe over. These are the gauges that I loaded before. It shows me my driving range. Right? Over here, it shows my energy usage. Swipe it over here. And now I can add another screen. You see these little icons with the heated seat and heated steering wheel. I can just click right on this button, and then I can decide what stage I want my seat, and if I want my steering wheel auto heated or not. And then you can just manually turn it on. All right, so that is right there, and that's what those buttons are, and that, of course, is for the passenger seat. Okay, clicking up there on the gear wheel, you can look at settings for navigation. So here's where you can make one-time setting. So this is like sitting in your driveway for 15, 20 minutes and just setting your preferences, and then you don't touch them the rest of the time you own the car. So map settings, okay, you can do the map orientation, which I did just by clicking on that little compass. You can always center the vehicle on the map, which is already turned on. You can decide which points of interest you want showing up on your map. Like, for instance, electrical vehicle charging stations are not on, but if I wanted to see those, I could turn those on. If I want to see cafes, I can turn them on. And then when I pull up my navigation, even if I don't have a route plotted, those things will show up as little icons on my map. All right. Split screen. You can turn them on, and then you can say left side split map options, split screen during a route, display route guidance options. So let's just say I want left side split map options. I can have the map orientation or center the vehicle. So, all right, so it's fine. Let's go to navigation. Now you see I get my split screen. I don't particularly like that particular setup, but there's lots of ways you could customize that. To the gear wheel here, go back into navigation. And we'll go to map settings. I won't go into all these. There's too many to go into. But you can see it's mostly just an on or off click. Very, very, very nice. I'm going to hit that back here again. You can go into clock, but we did that earlier just by going there. And that's where you can set that. You can look at system updates. There's a lot of sounds and beeps in the car. So if you want to look at that, you can adjust this. You can say, okay, the navigation volume is too much.
Sample.
And so you can adjust that, and it actually talks to you, and you kind of actually see what it sounds like. Ringtone. Guidance voice you can actually turn off if you don't want that. And button beeps. You just heard that? Yeah, so that's what it sounds like if you have it on. All right, let's go back again. General. Under display here, you can, again, adjust the brightness. You can change the language here. You can change the units here. You can do that in driver's information screen too. You can return all settings to default. Okay. Let's go over here. All right. You can create users here to save profiles. Okay. That's, you just click on user profiles and start. Right there. Okay. Under EV here, you can look at battery and power alerts. You can turn things on or off just with a simple click. You can look at charging messages. Let's go back here. Map icons for charging stations, another place to turn that on. Okay, let's go to reverse. All right, here we go. We're in the camera mode. So I love it that, again, they're using the full screen. You know, resolution, we've seen some better resolution than this, but it's decent. Okay? And the greatest thing is this huge wide screen. Now, in your driver's information screen, you do get a parking assist that's on, okay? And you can kind of hear it beeping at me in the background, but it would show me anything that was in front of me or behind me, and nothing's lit up, so there's nothing there. It's just beeping to warn people that we're backing up. It's a little hard to see. I wish the graphics were better, but you can see these green lines here. Okay, they're swivel, and then the blue lines stay. Okay, but you notice this red line and this blue line and this blue line back here? Well, if I tap the camera button, I can make those ones disappear and the dynamic guidelines, the ones that swivel, disappear. Tap the camera button again and they come on. Okay, we'll put it back into park here, and we'll go back to home screen. So, you know, that's it on the 2023 Nissan Ariya. And again, this is the Engage trim level. And I gotta say, it's very impressive. Well, we hope this has been helpful. Thanks for watching.